Well, good afternoon. Welcome back. We're excited. It's game week, and we have two more practices here in Fargo. We'll go this afternoon, and then again tomorrow morning, and then the semi leaves to get all our gear down there, and then we jump on the flight on Wednesday. So it's been a good, probably last week or so for us. We brought the guys back a week ago today, and have had 5 really good practices. Most of the game plan is in. There's some things we're fine-tuning, and we're excited about the challenge. It's going to be a great challenge, but it should be a heck of a football game with 2 really good teams. So open up for questions.
From the beginning of this season, when people talked about Jacksonville State, rankings, whatever, just in passing, you said things like, yeah, they're a really good football team. You were kind of aware of them. What have you seen from them that kind of always put them on your radar?
Well, we saw them last year in the playoffs when we were preparing for Sam Houston, and they went in and won at Jacksonville State. And I also, like I said, I've got a friend on the staff, and I've communicated with him a few times throughout the last couple of years, and I just know, just seeing them on film, how good they were, the type of players that they have, whether it be high school kids to transfers, they've just really jumped out. And then obviously, you look at the game against Auburn, and I don't know if Auburn had a good year, bad year in Auburn's, but it's Auburn, and they played those guys and really should have beaten them.
It's kind of a difference in styles. You guys kind of grow your players up, and they do get a lot of transfers. What's kind of the benefit of getting some of those transfer kids for a team like Jacksonville State?
I couldn't tell you, really. I mean, you'd have to ask those guys. I mean, it's just everybody's got a different philosophy. I don't want to get into what they do and what we do.
Who's going to be the starting quarterback, Chris?
I'm not sure yet, Jeff. Carson has another doctor's appointment today. He's continuing to progress, and you guys will all find out on Saturday.
Coach, you look at their defensive line. You mentioned they do have 4 guys who played SEC ball before they transferred to Jacksonville State. Is this the biggest, most aggressive D-line you think you've seen all year?
They're probably pretty similar to Northern Iowa. I mean, Northern Iowa's got a really good defensive line. I thought Youngstown had an exceptional defensive line, but these guys are really good, and they're not on the line of scrimmage guys. They're penetrating upfield guys, and they've got a lot of really good guys on defense, and I don't know if you'd say that's their strength, but I know they're really salty up front, and we'll have our hands full with those guys.
You mean they're off like a yard, half yard? Is that a style you've seen much?
No, you wouldn't notice it, I would say, if you'd say off a half-yard. They're such an aggressive upfield with their defensive ends that they cause you some issues as far as with the quarterback run game with some of the reads they give your quarterback.
So it's a little different than what Richmond presented you.
It's a way different. Are you talking just defense in general? Yeah, it's a way different look than what Richmond gave us, you bet.
So is Carson practicing? Has he been practicing since he came back?
He's practicing on a limited basis, yes.
You guys have been pretty good against the run the last couple of weeks, especially in the playoffs. What do you have to tell your defense to keep up that level?
Well, this is a really difficult challenge because there's a quarterback and a running back that are running wild, that are having phenomenal seasons, and we can't say we're going to go in and stop the running back. We can't go in and say we're just going to stop the quarterback. The other guy will really hammer you. We've got to do a great job of being able to control their run game in general. It reminded me a little bit of last year's Illinois State, really. I mean, because of the quarterback and the running back's ability on the perimeter, and they've got a great weapon at wide receiver. So I think they're a really balanced offense. I think some people would say, boy, they're really having success running the football. But if you look at it, they're really balanced. They've got the one kid with, I think, over 90 catches. And they've been consistent all year long as far as their production.
Would you say Jenkins is similar to Trey Roberson?
Until I see him, until I'm on the field and see him on the hoof and stuff, but just watching him on film, there are a lot of similarities in how effective he is running the football, as well as his ability on the edge of throwing it. And I don't know how big the Pope kid is compared to, compared to what Coppridge was last year and stuff, but just in their production, for sure, those two kids are really similar.
practice been? How beneficial are these days? There's no classes, there's no tests anybody's studying for or anything. You're just here playing football.
It's awesome. It helps so much in our development of our young guys. It's given us an opportunity to work individual drills with all the kids that are either redshirted or maybe limited in playing. It's allowed us to do some 7-on-7 and inside run with those guys. We've scrimmaged those guys. It almost is like having another spring ball with those guys. And when we come back, they have a week off, get into winter conditioning. We're not far away from spring ball. I hate to tell you that, but we're not that far away from spring ball. And so these guys are getting a great jump on that.
How about for the guys preparing to take the field on?
It's good because you don't have to hurry through anything. You know, you can take an extra 15 minutes and walk through offense or defense because you're not on a clock limit. You know, guys come up to the office more and watch film. You're able to set your times, not having to worry about a kid having to miss because of a class conflict or anything. So that stuff's been real beneficial, as well as, you know, we have them with Kramer in the morning and then us in the afternoon. So we're keeping them active, keeping them busy, but yet keeping them focused on the task at hand, and that's to try to go down there and put our best foot forward on Saturday.
Coach, your special teams have been so good all playoffs. With what Jacksonville State did against Sam Houston in terms of the pooch punting, do you prepare for that at all?
You bet. We've practiced it quite a bit. We've maybe adjusted some of our alignments of some guys, and whether or not they'll, you know, some of it's wind, whether or not they'll kick it deep, whether or not they'll bang it around to individual spots. We've worked it all, and that gives you more time, really, the time that we've had to do that. We've emphasized special teams. We always do a great job emphasizing, but we've put more time into it, and we've had some special teams walkthroughs that you don't normally get to have.
What's the kicking situation? You got a starter? Or
Yeah, we'll kick Cam. We'll punt Ben, and we'll kick Cam. I think Cam's done a nice job of bouncing back, and we've kind of changed a little bit of some of our practice routines to try to put him in a little bit more stressful situations. And, you know, Ben, we sat him for a little while after the Richmond game because, you know, on the one extra point where he scrambled out, he got taken to the ground pretty good and was pretty swollen in his right side. That's subsided now. He's punting really well, and Cam's really, I think, responded well to kind of some new ways we're doing things at practice to emphasize him.
A lot of the guys said they were excited to see somebody new. For you and your coaching staff, is there an excitement level of breaking down a new opponent?
You bet. I think it's excitement because you've never played these guys. You know, it may be easier to go against a Valley team or Sam Houston where you have prepared for them. It maybe shrinks your time and game plan stuff. But with the 3-week window, which I still think is too long, it does give you the opportunity to go through every game that they have and come up with a good game plan. But there's still so much unknown. You know, if we were playing Sam, our guys would remember, hey, I played against that kid last year or something. None of us are going to know their side or our side until you get into that first quarter. You know, how physical it is, where the strengths are of each team. You can see it on film, but until you go against them, it's difficult.
Coach, on your run game, you've got a lot of different guys who can do a lot of different things. Chase, you know, obviously catches the ball well. King seems to be able to pound it 20 times. Is that versatility where you want it to be heading to this game?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, you know, we've settled on our pretty much every down back with King Frazier, and King has had a great second half of the season, and he deserved the all-conference recognition that he received. But we do have some versatility by putting Lance and Bruce and Chase in the game, as well as having some packages where we have 2, if not 3 of those guys in the game, and I think it makes us more difficult to defend.
The experience factor is something we make more out of it. You've been there before, that this is their Jacksonville State's first go around, and have you seen it come to fruition, the experience of going there?
Well, we sure hope so. I think just the environment, being around the environment before, I think helps you. Knowing exactly when we get off that bus, what hotel we're at and what we're doing there and where all the meeting rooms are at, as well as getting off the bus, knowing where the locker room is to where the practice fields and stuff and the type of grass, all those things, you know, I think maybe make it a little more comfortable going into this week. I don't know if it helps you win. It's still going to come down to execution and who has a better football team and who has a better plan and how well you execute that plan. But no question, our experience of just being down there before, I think, helps our guys.
Report on the field conditions in light of what happened a couple of years ago?
You know, I haven't heard anything about that other than the fact that, you know, last year I thought it was in great shape and you know, it seems like they've probably had a lot of rain down there. I don't know if they're still playing soccer around there, are they? Is that season over with, or are they? Okay, so it's covered all the time, so we don't even see it. We probably won't even see the field. I think there's rain in the forecast when we get down there, so I'm assuming the field's going to be covered until game time.
Coach, I know you were at Clemson in March. What experience was that like for you, for getting to know Coach Sweeney? Did he, you know, get anything from your mind? Did you get anything from them, seeing now each of you guys playing for the national championship?
Well, great for me. I got to tour facilities, got to see their fueling station and set up and the things organizationally that they're doing with their football team in the spring and fall. Just got to bounce some ideas off him and pick his brain. He's been a head coach a lot longer than I have, so it was fun to pick his brain. Really happy for those guys. A couple of staff members I got a chance to visit with. I met Venables a few times anyway, and it's been, you know, it was neat. After they won their game, I shot a picture of Devin, myself, and Colby in our Clemson hats and T-shirts to Coach Sweeney. Congratulations, and got a text right back, and best luck to you guys on the 9th. So he knows where the Bison are playing, and it's pretty cool.
Did you catch Georgia Southern in their bowl game, the GoDaddy Bowl?
I did not.
What are your opinion of a team going from FCS to FBS, Chris?
Haven't given it much thought, Mike. Obviously, I think it has worked for Georgia Southern and App State as far as at least their success. But you know, you could tell me 3 schools that wasn't successful. I know my last college football game in 1990 was a playoff game at Boise State, and it's worked out for those guys pretty well.
Any other injuries, anything cropping up?
No, you know, we've, knock on wood, we've had a productive 5 or 6 days where we've had some physical practices. We still have a padded day today and a half padded day tomorrow where we'll have some collisions and stuff, but knock on wood that we can come through pretty healthy.
Is this still the same framework, same routine that you guys have been doing?
We adjust a little bit every year. You know, we've had the 3-week break, we've had the 2-week break. We're handling the 3-week break different than we did, I think, the first or second time we had this, just on what we're doing with the guys. You know, in the past, we'd have walkthroughs and stuff in the morning and then practice in the afternoon. Now we give them to Kramer in the morning, let our coaches do their game plan, let those guys make sure that we know what we want to practice, and then come back in the afternoon and hit it in the afternoon. So I know one thing that's a huge benefit, thanks, Matt, is the bubble. You know, in 2013, we had to caravan up north, and that takes 2 hours out of your time just to travel. And so in my first year in 2011, when I thought Fargo was like living in Florida, we were outside on the grass because it was 55 degrees, and I thought, this is awesome, because we had the same issue, but it was dry and it was warm. But the bubble has made a huge difference for us to be able to get in there and not miss a beat with the wrestling stuff that goes on late in December.
You mentioned you didn't like having the 3 weeks off versus 2 weeks. Is there something that really sticks out that you really don't like about having this much time off?
It's just too long in general, as far as, you know, you can have more unexpected, meaning it's almost like a first game all over again, where you know, how many more wrinkles can they put in? Same respect, how many more wrinkles can we put in? I know why they're doing it, to put it next to the FBS championship and stuff, but you know, I know this. Our guys are going to go play in a national championship game, and we're fortunate and blessed to be able to do that. We're going to fly home on Saturday, and those kids are going to school on Monday. It'd be nice if those guys could have a week off before they start school. Now, nobody feels sorry for us, and we wouldn't change it for anything in the world. But, you know, and as a coach, you know, you can probably get your game plan. 1 week's too early. It used to be 1 week, and that was too early. But if it were 2 weeks, it'd probably be better.